give people a little bit more of the true me. And the other thing I'll say too is, remember last year I said to Nylander in Sweden, you look thicker, and he looked at me like I had a third ear sprouted on my forehead. I didn't say that to Bedard because I didn't want that same reaction, but he also looks thicker. Like he's a strong guy. He still looks young. He's got that youthful look to him, which is good. Keep that as long as you can from old gray guys like me. But he definitely looks thicker and stronger.
Your lives are so sad. I get a charity tax break just for hanging out with you.
Thanks for joining me, Whiskeylung here. That was Elliot Friedman. He's a journalist for Sportsnet. Really funny guy, a lot of good takes. I don't know if he understands the vernacular of using the word thick. He wonders why Nylander gave him the eyes when he was called thick. Elliot, maybe for future reference, tell players they look like they bulked up. But this was from his most recent episode of 32 Thoughts, his podcast that he does with Kyle Bukakis. Really interesting episode. I didn't initially really like 32 Thoughts, but I gave it a chance, and Kyle Bukakis has recently joined the show, and I think he's doing a great job. And they keep it really interesting, and I like the format of the show. It usually runs like an hour, but I find the hour just going by like that, so I do recommend listening to it. I'm giving Elliot a hard time, but he's a really good source for information in the NHL. He provides a lot of insights into essentially every team. And one of the really neat things that he touched on this episode was that he's hearing a lot of feedback from the prospects game between the Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. And what I was happy to hear was he feels like the Canadiens are providing a lot of good feedback about Lane Hutson. Lane Hutson has been kind of a sweetheart in the Habs community, and for good reason. Every time he touches the puck, you feel like something special can happen. But what Elliot said, and maybe I'll play a clip for you.
But one of the players texted me and said, Lane Hutson is going to make a run for the Calder this year. And it's early, and I know that, but apparently what this guy has been telling me is that in the captain skates the Canadians have been having, like they're sitting there and saying, can you believe what this kid can do? And I think it's going to be different for him than it's going to be for Mishkov, because one, I think it's always harder for defensemen than it is for forwards. And number two, Mishkov is a bigger guy than Hutson. Hutson, I guess, again, I didn't see, but I heard that I read a bit that he got hit a couple times. Like when this is day one of prospect camp. Wait till the regular games begin, assuming he's on the team, and they're going to be going after him. So he's going to have a bigger curve than I think Mishkov will. But the Montreal guys, they're like they think this guy is the real deal. So I like hearing this stuff early. I like it when players say, "Hey, pay attention to our guy." I'm really, really looking forward to seeing Hutson play the big games, because first of all, that this league's going to be like, let's see what this guy's really about, and he's going to take his licks, and he's going to probably have some -4 nights, but you can see the talent. I mean, you really can see the talent.
So it sounds like the team or individuals from the team are almost like giddy about how good Lane is playing, or how much of a difference maker he could be. What are your thoughts? What do you think of Lane Hutson? Toronto fans, what do you think of Easton Cowan? Do you think these guys are difference makers? The other thing that I thought was interesting from this episode was that the Amazon documentary following different teams and different players in the NHL is going to be launching soon. It's going to be a short miniseries featuring life on and off the ice for certain players. And what Friedman said was that teams were worried about certain content being aired, and they tried to kind of fight whether or not it would make it to the final cut of the documentary. And they lost, and those things will be aired. He goes further and says that specifically the Toronto Maple Leafs put up a stink about some of it. And I think it touches on something with Sheldon Keefe and William Nylander. So I'm getting really excited, just anticipating like what the heck could it be, like a behind the scenes stuff. Is it embarrassing? Is it demonstrating maybe bad characteristics with those individuals? Like, why wouldn't they want it to air? What is it? Let me know what your thoughts are. That's all I have for you guys. I just thought that was kind of funny, and I really like listening to this episode. Again, really recommend 32 Thoughts. I think it's a great podcast. Audio quality is good, which is important to me. That was always my problem with Spitting Chicklets. Not that Spitting Chicklets is a bad podcast, just they're spitting into the mic. I guess that's why it's called Spitting Chicklets. Invest in pop filters. Guys, if you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not already a whiskey fiend. And as always, I'll see you down below in the comments.